clear. Coming through Geocache Talk, a voice on the line I hear. Coming through Geocache Talk.
Embark on a breathtaking 12-night journey through Scandinavia with the Worldwide Cache Cruise, starting from the enchanting city of Amsterdam. Get ready to experience the best of Northern Europe in unparalleled style and comfort. Your adventure begins in Amsterdam, a city of picturesque canals and rich history. Explore its vibrant streets, visit world-renowned museums, and indulge in the local cuisine. Aboard our luxurious cruise ship, every detail is crafted for your comfort and enjoyment. From gourmet dining experiences to soothing spa treatments, your days at sea promise relaxation and entertainment. In Oslo, let the Vigeland Sculpture Park captivate your imagination, or explore the historic Viking Ship Museum. Next, we are sailing to Stockholm, the Venice of the North, with its stunning archipelago and historic Old Town. But that's not all. This stop is extra special. We're on a mission to find the legendary fourth loop of the Jasmer Challenge, GC4D, the Match Stash. This is the oldest currently active geocache in Sweden and the second oldest in Europe. It is still being maintained by its original owner. In Helsinki, Finland, discover a blend of Eastern and Western influences. Visit the bustling Market Square and the serene Suomenlinna Sea Fortress. Copenhagen awaits with its iconic Little Mermaid statue and colorful Nyhavn district. Then, wander through the medieval streets of Tallinn, Estonia, a hidden gem with a timeless charm. Back on board, we will swap stories with our fellow geocachers, enjoy Broadway-style shows, engaging activities for all ages, and nightlife that dazzles under the stars. The crew is dedicated to making our voyage unforgettable. As the sun sets on our Scandinavian adventure, take a moment to breathe in the crisp sea air and cherish the memories made. With the Worldwide Cache Cruise, we are not just taking a vacation. We are geocaching and collecting experiences that will last a lifetime.
Hey, Geocache Talk Network fans. If you love what we do and want to support the shows, we've got two great ways to help keep the adventure going. You can join us on Patreon at patreon.com/geocachetalk for exclusive perks. Or if you prefer a one-time boost, buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/geocachetalknetwork. Every bit of support helps us bring you more geocaching fun, stories, or shows. So whether it's a membership or a coffee, we appreciate you being part of making the Geocache Talk Network operate. Thanks, and happy caching.
Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Logwork, the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine Write in the Rain paper. The logbook's designed for the micro-containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who'd rather go caching than doing cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's logwerk.com.
Calling all geocachers. At artedcrafted.com, we create unique apparel designed by geocachers for geocachers. From custom t-shirts to personalized mugs, our gear lets you express your passion. Stand out at your next event with artedcrafted.com. artedcrafted.com. Gear up for your next geocaching adventure.
Thanks to our new patrons, Data Wrangler. Whoop. Get my microphone over. Sorry about that. I've never done this before. Yes. How many years have I done this?
A few years you'll be
good. Comes with 10 years of practice. Big thanks to our new patrons, Data Wrangler, Old Bowler, Lost Kin, Whidbey Island Gal, Caching Karma, and returning patron, Soccer Kicks. Thanks to all our patrons for keeping the show on the air. And yes, I didn't have my microphone in front of me for the audio listeners. So, you know, rookie mistake. All right. Let's bring in the gentlemen, the boys.
Howdy,
Jesse
howdy.
and John. No guests tonight. Just the hosts. But we've got a lot to do tonight and a lot to cover. So we've got a lot of exciting news, and so let's start with news. And starting off the news, I have a video I'm going to show, but while I'm getting the video pulled up, I'm going to turn the news over to John. So, John, take it away.
Oh man, Gary, thank you for doing that, sir. I just wanted to let people know that I had pizza 3 times today.
Okay,
And
that's not in the show notes.
Oh, we're sticking to script tonight.
Well, no, we don't have to. But...
I mean, probably not, but
yeah, probably not. But okay, I just wanted to talk a little bit. And I think Gary's going to cover the message and the cache cruise. Yes. So I want to tell people about the upcoming gadget talk that we're having on March 18th. Which, if you're anything like me, you're like, how can it almost be March 18th, 2 days from now? But it is. And you're going to want to stay tuned for Gadget Talk, March 18th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have it, believe it or not, the
hey guys, Steve here from the Travel
Cache Fest Hawaii. We're going to have breaking news from that team and about some really cool things about Hawaii's first mega. And we're also going to have the great gadget giveaway. So if you've seen some of the awesome stuff that Chad's made on the show over the years, Chad's actually going to give a whole bunch of that cool stuff away. But you actually have to be there for the show in order to be eligible to win on that side.
Live.
I know. So it's like, don't miss that, because just imagine, like, if you won some of those gadgets that Chad built and you can put those out in your area, the favorite points you're going to get. Crazy.
Yeah. That's like cheating.
That's awesome though. Okay. Yeah, I'm bumbling forward. Sorry about that. So this video, I couldn't upload it, pulling the curtain back a little bit. So I'm trying what StreamYard has, which is you can click on video file and it pulls it up, but it immediately started playing. I'm sorry about that. But all right, we have a message from our buddy Steve Weeks. So let's play it and then we'll talk about it afterwards. So here we go.
I just wanted to let you know that I'm having a bit of a fire sale. I have the opportunity to perform once again with the musicians from the geocaching music group Bugsy Travels and the Ammo Boxes. And if you follow along on my geocaching music adventures, you'll know that the Travel Bugs and Bugsy Travels perform together sometimes, but you'll also know that it's a bit of a rarity. It's a sort of a special occasion type thing, and it doesn't happen often. So we now have the opportunity on May 17th to perform together in Finland at an urban block party. We're really excited about it, and as always, I'm trying to think of creative ways to celebrate, commemorate it, and to fundraise a little bit for this adventure, as Finland is a good ways off. So I thought between now and the event, I'll have a sale on the merchandise that I have left. So to get right to it, first up, I have found it. The original album of music from the Travel Bugs. This is a full-length CD of original geocaching music, and you can have it for $15 right now, and that includes taxes and shipping in the United States. So if it's a flat fee of $15. If you prefer, I have to cover these codes up. I have a few copies of the CD that actually have trackable codes. So if you would like to have the CD, but you would also like it to be a trackable, I do have that, and that is $20, again, flat fee. And lastly, I have some of these geocoins left. I'm calling them Travel Bugs Live Geocoin. They're intended to look like a ticket to a live Travel Bugs performance. They're nickel plated, they're high quality. They're $30, but here's the special deal. For $30, you actually get 2 coins. Due to a manufacturing error, I ended up with duplicates of these coins, and so you'll get 2 coins. To be clear, 1 trackable code, but 2 physical coins. So you could keep one, release one, keep them both, do whatever you want to do. But again, that's $30 for the Travel Bugs Live Geocoin. I am out of the World Tour Geocoins. Those have sold out. So at any rate, if you're interested in any of these, if you want to collect Geocoins, or you like music, or you just want to kind of be a part of this, please contact me if you'd like any of these items. I do not have an online store or e-commerce or anything. I just don't sell enough merchandise to merit that. So I've always done this very informally. You can get in touch with me, and I've got Venmo, PayPal. We'll work it out however we can. If you live in Colorado Springs or nearby, I will meet you somewhere and hand deliver it. I have even done that before. So please share this with anyone you think might be interested. I'd greatly appreciate that. But otherwise, I hope you're all doing well and happy and healthy. And I hope to see you on the trails, or better yet, at a performance at a geocaching event. And until then, happy geocaching.
So yeah, cool. So I contacted Steve and I said, "Hey, can I play this?" He's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely, you could play this." So he's got his the information. We'll put the link in the show notes, but it's basically contact at travelbugmusic.com. So yeah, it's a good way to help him out.
The ticket coins, I might have to get one of those.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, those are, awesome. And if you don't live in the U.S., I think if you contact Steve, y'all can work out. He can look up what it would cost, and he, as long as you cover your shipping, he will, he'll be able to do that for you. So, yeah. So thanks, Steve, and I'm glad he's getting to go on that trip. So yeah, let's talk briefly, because we do have a lot to cover tonight. But we do want to update that we changed the name. It's no longer the Sweden cruise. That was just sort of a placeholder. But we had Worldwide Cache Con during COVID. We've had Worldwide Cache Fest a few years ago, and now we're doing the Worldwide Cache Cruise. And
so unoriginal, right? But that's okay. It works.
It's got a good ring to it, though. I like it.
It's clear as to what we're doing. So
yeah. And I know that all 3 of those, there'll be some naysayer out there going, "It wasn't worldwide." Like, well, Worldwide Cache Con was. I mean, we were trendsetters.
Absolutely. And we had Worldwide Cache Fest will be. Give it time. Who knows where it's going to go, right? Cache Fest could go anywhere.
Right.
We're going to 2 continents on the first cruise. So I'd say that's worldwide. I'm just saying. There you go.
Yeah.
Give it time, people. Let it cook a little bit. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
Don't be impatient.
Exactly.
Well, we already know people are coming from all over the world for this cruise,
So there you go.
We've heard from people like outside of North America, in different parts of the world. So, I mean, it's really cool that it's bringing geocachers together from all across the world for sure.
The only bad part is it's not this summer. It's next summer, right? Which seems like it's forever away, but it will be here so fast. It's going to be here quick.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of planning to do for summer 2026.
Is my microphone better now?
I can hear it.
Know, Gary. I think maybe you got you got to get the input for your microphone.
I got it in there.
Is it?
Did I bump it? I didn't bump I'm having a lot of fun tonight, aren't I? Let me see here.
Yeah. And as you're doing that, Gary, I just got to give a shout out. I know K Blast said Pizza Talk was awesome last week. I'm sorry I missed it, my friend, on that one. I wanted to be there. I took an oath for anybody who's a cache hider for Cache Odyssey who comes for beautiful Western New York to meet up with them for pickle pizza. And retired guy messaged me and was like, "Hey, I'm coming through. Can we meet up and have some pickle pizza?" And I was like, absolutely. I know I told anybody who was a cache hider that for Cache Odyssey, I will do my best to do that. So I had to honor that commitment on that side.
So if they find your cache, they get tortured with pickle pizza.
Whoa, 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 whoa. If you read the comments, Jesse, if you read the comments from people have been very favorable on pickle pizza. There has not been a comment yet from somebody
judgment is to be questioned, but that's okay.
Yeah, but nobody has said pickle pizza is bad who's tried it. Just saying.
They're just being nice to you.
Oh man. No. I'm not the type of person people have to be nice to. You know that.
All right. Are we going to do an update on the cruise, or are we giving out information tonight, or what are we doing?
Yeah, real quick.
Because not everything goes to the public, right? We're trying to keeping a lot of that in the group and on the list, but there's still a lot of stuff we can put in the public.
No, absolutely. So there's been a little bit of incorrect rumors out there. Do I sound decent at the moment? I'm okay?
Oh, you sound much better, Gary.
Yeah. Much better? Okay, good. Okay.
Much better.
Somebody said, well, it's sold out. It's like, it's not going to be sold out. I mean, it would take a lot of people to sell it out. Now, cabins are going quick, and all of the ocean views are sold out for this ship, for this cruise. But there are interior rooms, there's ocean view with veranda, and if you want to go up to the upper class ones, you could do those as well. So there are cabins available. They are starting to sell out some of the different levels. So, but yeah.
And so just to be clear, for people who don't know how cruises work,
yes,
you can try to do it in a group. They will not save the whole ship for any group. So if other people are booking at the same time we're booking, they have to sell out, right? Cruises do sell out 100%.
Sure.
International cruises sell out way in advance. This is not like a Caribbean cruise where you can jump on there this weekend.
Right.
So while it's not sold out, it will sell out without a doubt. If you want to, for our group, y'all all know how to do this. We're not going to necessarily say this live on the air. You can get that information another way in the group or in the email group. If you want to reserve your spot, do it now.
Yep.
Do it now, because we can't stop them from selling. This is their ship, right? We're going to get in there as fast as we can, but we cannot stop them from selling out. So do it as fast as you can. Those that already know the information should know exactly how to do it. The ones that don't, email us or get in the Facebook group, and we'll give you all the details of how to do it. We want everybody there. Everybody that wants to go, we want everybody there. It'll be not a mega, but it'll be a huge monumental geocaching event we're going to call worldwide. Whether it's worldwide or not, we're going to call it worldwide anyway. So it is worldwide to us. So.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So if you don't know, so people, if you don't know, check Facebook, check email. If you're not on those two groups, get in either the Facebook or email. Email us, geocachetalk@gmail.com. It's going to kind of move fast at this point. So,
yeah, it's 12 nights, best of Scandinavia. We're going to fly to Amsterdam and go from there. Starts the cruise begins June 21st of 2026. I know it sounds a long way off, but trust me, it won't be. Is round trip, 12 nights, 7 ports. We go to 6 countries, so you get 6 country souvenirs. So it's going to be awesome. Oslo, Norway, Skagen, and Copenhagen, Denmark. But we can do those in different parts of the cruise. Stockholm, Sweden. We get GC4D. We get the 4th loop of the Jasmer. And then Helsinki, Finland, and Tallinn or Tallinn, however you want to pronounce.
We'll learn it before we get there.
Estonia. Yes. Skagen is also, the locals don't do a southern version of it. I think it's in there. They would call it Skane. Is the way they do Skagen. So apologies to our folks in the Netherlands. Denmark area.
We are butchering all these other countries names right now. By the time we get there, we're going to have them right because we practice. We're going to have people on.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So yeah. So if you live in any of these areas,
many nights, yeah.
Yep. But if you live in any of these countries, send us an email, geocachetalk@gmail.com. We'd love to get in touch with you. I did talk to Holoyosi, the Mad Finn, and he said he's can't promise anything yet. It's a long way away, but he plans to meet us in Helsinki. Probably Miko Put. We could probably get him to join us as well in Helsinki. But Jesse will be working on getting events scheduled for Amsterdam and Oslo and Skane and
everywhere.
Copenhagen and Stockholm, and Tallinn and Helsinki. So there you go. And
I'd love
all the
to
information.
Get to cache owners meet us while we're there. Cache owners in other countries, it's always awesome when they meet you. They won't even torture you and make you eat pickle pizza, but they maybe, who knows?
Whoa.
Oops, I didn't mean to say that loud. Yeah.
Jesse, come on, man. People love pickle pizza. I mean, we've had a few comments in here. Okay. I'll give you
I don't want to tell you, John. They're just being nice to you. But
no. Patty Cakes is not being nice, but Patty Cakes, she's come
Italian.
Up from West New York. First slice of pickle pizza's on me. Just saying that. And
there you go.
And then until it's on the floor because you can't stomach it, but it's okay. We'll move on.
Jesse, you're gonna love it, man.
So, hey, we're trying to be serious here, John. Now, will you get a list of caches? They will be yes. So between now and then, we will be doing all of that. So we'll be highlighting caches that we can go for. We'll be trying to arrange group trips. We'll be doing a lot of that stuff for when we get off the boat. Now, everybody obviously is allowed to do anything they want to do. They're not beholden to us. However, we will arrange for groups to be able to go safely, and we'll go with groups to go to the caches. We'll keep in mind not to get off topic because we have a long time to go over this, but you're not always going to have cell signal. They're not always going to be in English. You're not always going to be able to read street signs. So we're going to do a lot of advanced research on all the places we're going, right? Caches translated, probably puzzles solved, all those things, events posted ahead of time. We're going to do all that stuff. That's the power of having a group, right? I'm sure we'll have many, many group meetings, more as it comes close.
Yep.
But we're going to all feel prepared when we get there to go and meet people that hopefully we're going to have on the show ahead of time. Everybody's going to know we're coming. We're going to know where we're going, and we're going to get everything we want. And again, with a group, you can get the caches that you want. You can go sightseeing as much as you want. You balance how you want to go, but you'll have somebody to go with, and kind of increases that safety when you're not, a native language speaker for where you are. So,
yep. One more item on that. We'll move on. A couple of people have asked, like, well, why should I use the travel agent that y'all are using? What's the benefit of that? And there's a couple things that is a benefit. One is that she is already getting us discounts. So I sent her a note tonight. I said, hey, I think I want to add, because you can add on stuff. So Susan and I talked, and I said, well, let's at least add on the Wi-Fi package. You can add the Wi-Fi package. You can add the drink package. I noticed that Jim says he got the drink package already, so he's ready to go.
Smart move.
But absolutely. But that's the one thing one thing a travel agent can do is they can get you the discounts. And they're already doing that for us. The other item is that as far as paying, I don't know, and may be wrong, but Celebrity doesn't necessarily, again, you're approaching Celebrity as an individual. And so they're going to treat you like an individual. They want your deposit on this date. They want the total on this date, and there's no question about it. Now, with the travel agent, I asked her, I said, could I work out something where I pay you so much a month and she's like, yeah, we can work out a payment.
That's a good advantage. Yeah.
That's a great.
And the other thing is she's going to help us, and she's even offered to jump on a call with, our group, the people that are going, and give us hints of by this time, you need to have your passport done. By this time, you need to know. She can tell us about travel insurance, all that other stuff. For some people are super knowledgeable and they could cruise, blindfolded somewhere else. A lot of people have not been on a cruise. So that's the advantage of this as a group. And we're hoping if we get enough people that sign up, she's going to be able to negotiate with them to get, like, if we want to do group seating for dinners, you know what I mean? We can have a big group because there's tons of people on this boat, right? No matter how big our group is, it's not big, right? Compared to this boat.
No.
They can do meeting rooms set aside for us where we can have little mini events. We can do fun games. There's a lot of things they can do for us on board if we're a group that we can't do individually necessarily.
Yes.
She can help us reach out and contact people, not necessarily an excursion, because there's going to be excursions on all these places, right? Some people may want to do those. We are probably going geocaching. So they can help us negotiate, that's our point of contact, help us negotiate over there. Like, hey, this is how you run a bus in this country. It's not like here. There's other things you have to do. So we need a point of contact that knows that. So, and she's a nice person. She's there. Like, Jim said, she called. Very nice person. We know her. We've used her before. We trust her. That's why we're using her as a recommendation here. But if we get enough people, then we'll talk in the group about the things that we think that's going to help us do while we're on the ship. But that's we can only do that if we get group people, right? So, hopefully events, live shows, stuff like that. But we can't do that with like 7 people, although there's more people. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Just wait till everybody books in, and then we'll see what she can negotiate for us.
Yeah, definitely. She's working on that, and Tony said the same thing. Same here. Also, if you're wanting to go, I know we're covering a lot of this, but I've been contacted by a few folks who are like, never been. Don't worry about that. I've never been either, but we'll do this together. The other thing too is that I'm working on teaming up people who want to be or solo travelers. So I know Jim, not Jim Conway, but Thunderstruck, who's watching from the hospital. Get well. I'm glad you're going to go home tomorrow, but Jim awesome. And there's a few other folks that are solo travelers, and we'll get you paired up because you don't want to do it yourself. It's too expensive, but we'll definitely, we're geocachers. We'll work together, and we'll. So if you're a solo cacher, still contact us, geocachetalk@gmail.com. Tell us that you're interested. I'm still getting a lot of, people who are sending those, and I will get you the information. Bear with me as I get everybody put into the system. But if you're like, well, I can't go because I'm just one person, don't let that stop you. Send us information, and we'll work on getting you a spot. So that'll be great. Hey, we got the CFO is with us tonight. There she is.
Yeah, she's there.
Christy. She says I was talking with Trish a few minutes ago.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was talking with Trish a few minutes ago. This is Christy, our CFO. She says she said she has been on her phone all weekend working with everyone, and that the group is simply amazing. Well, that's good. I'm glad y'all have a trusted person.
Yeah, she's a nice person. And Christy's already agreed to, and she's already agreed, so we'll say it, and now everybody hears it. But she is really good Christy is really good at doing research about areas, all the sites to go see, not just geocaching stuff, right? We can do that stuff. That's not hard. But she's a big history buff. So, and I know many people in this group are, but so she's going to start putting those together, like every country we're going to. Here's some likely highlights that you're going to want to go see that are non-geocaching related. Because if we have those, there may be something that strikes your fancy, and you're going over there, you're getting geocaches. Obviously, we're a geocaching cruise, right?
Yeah.
But there's something you really want to see there, and there may be 3 or 4 other people that want to go see that, and you have a group to go, so you're not having to go by yourself, right? So that's going to be very valuable for our group. People travel the way they want to travel, and be as safe as you want to be. But when you're in a foreign country, if you're not super familiar with customs, you should have a buddy. if at all possible, have a buddy to go with you to do something, especially if you can't read any signs anywhere. So, so that's she's working on that on the back end as well. So super excited.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. What do we have left? We got a lot left. We don't really need to cover them now. Souvenirs, Pi Day. If you didn't get it, you need to get out and get. I don't know if you still have time. I think it was just yesterday and the day before, maybe. But Pi Day. Hopefully, everybody got a.
It's all weekend, I think.
Yeah, I
the
think
March
it's today
equinox.
too.
We mentioned that before. Yeah, it could be today too. The March equinox tour is the 20th to the 23rd. John, mention treasures, and then we'll move on to the show.
Yeah, just quick. And I don't know about you guys. It's crazy. Treasures
we
starts
can mention
tomorrow.
the Cache Odyssey next week.
Yeah, but Treasure starts tomorrow, March 17th, with the 2 collections on this one. So everybody, if you're into treasures, want to find out what it's about, it starts tomorrow. So I think it's going to be very interesting for people to get into it. But I won't talk about the 2 collections in depth. You can go to the geocaching news site to find out those 2 collections. But I'm sure like next week we're going to talk a little bit more about that to see how it went over. So I'm looking forward to that talk.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. We did have Anne. I guess we'll mention this real quick. Ann Poe finished her second Cache Odyssey tour. She finished the South. She's the first one to ever finish the South. Yeah. And also we had Dolphinando. Probably messed it up. Sorry. Dolphinando. That's the way I would say it.
Yeah,
that's my guess.
Sharknado, but
they finished. Yeah, it's sort of Sharknado-like. Yeah, Dolphinando. They were the first to finish the Southwest.
Oh,
and if you think about that, to finish the Southwest means they had to go to Hawaii. So, not that you had to go. I mean,
yeah,
nobody has to. Well, I guess people do, but I mean that's a they got to go to Hawaii because Hawaii is so awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Then John's got Rick Dorsey 8080 coming up his way this next weekend.
Yeah, he's coming up less than a week from now. And Rick Dorsey 8080, big shout out, reached out to me and says, "Hey, I'm coming up, finishing the Northeast, and I want to do pizza." And I said, "Absolutely, let's make it happen." So man, I'm looking forward to Rick and celebrating the big accomplishment with him.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we were talking. We did treasure. We did technology part 1. We're doing technology part 2 tonight. But as part of that, we do need to mention a couple items. One was I did a augmented reality, I think is the best way to put that, is did that at our in Rockwall, where you put on of course they do it because these are not cheap, but they put on a goggle has speakers, and you do a whole augmented reality which is where you're looking around. You can see your hands look like they have gloves on, and you can kind of manipulate things in front of you, and your finger becomes a laser pointer. And we did 2 adventures, I guess you'd call them, and it was really a lot of fun. The room was kind of small. I guess it really it doesn't have to be huge, but I think it would have been nice if the room we were in was a little bit larger. It didn't have to be huge, but the experience was great. We really enjoyed it. It's obviously immersive. You put these goggles on, and then you have your own headset. So you're like, you get your own music and your own headset, and you're kind of, you do have to kind of watch slightly out of the side of your eye that you're not going to run into anybody, because there's other people in the room doing their own virtual reality thing going on, or augmented reality. but you guys are doing some virtual reality stuff. So tell everybody about your little VR stuff you got going. Wouldn't you call that more virtual reality?
Yeah, it's virtual reality. So Jesse and I were just like, you know what? We should make virtual reality geocaches. So we did, believe it or not, on here. And mine published. I know Jesse's going to drop soon. I'll put the GC code to mine in the chat if people actually want to check that one out. But as far as we know, these could be the first couple of virtual reality geocaches ever published on that side. So
I've been trying to look, John, and while we're talking about this, Gary, check your text. There's some information that's coming in to you related to what we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
It's about the cruise. So check your text on that.
Cool.
Good resource. So John, I've been researching, and I cannot find a true VR cache out there. Maybe somebody knows of one. But I was looking around, and I've seen people that kind of mention it, but I haven't seen a true one out there. So I think yours is the first. That's what I think. I'm gonna call that now. We have the educated experts in our chat room. They can back us up on this or refute it. But I think you've done something new since the first half of the show. You brought the future to the present.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you, that was us talking about it and talking through and saying, what would it take to get there? And you're right, Jesse. I mean, if anybody has a knows of another virtual reality cache, like, please drop in the chat. We'd love to see it, on that side. But I know the way we built it kind of when we were sounding out through the show is we wanted to do it with a tool that people could use a VR headset. If people chose not to have a VR headset, or if they didn't have one, they could certainly do it on a mobile device through a web browser. But yeah, amateur gadget caches. Can a VR headset be considered special equipment required? It can, in this instance, it enhances the experience on that side.
Is that a 5? I'm just throwing it out there. Is that a 5 special equipment?
Ooh.
Well, no, because
absolutely.
In fairness, the way you set yours up and the way I'm setting mine up is it's designed for that, but there's other ways to do it as well, right? Because not everybody currently has a VR headset. So
yeah, and I gotta think too, Jesse. I mean, like after we set ours up on here, I could see it taking off and people just doing them with VR headsets down the road,
Oh, absolutely. I hate to keep going back and forth, but so Trish, this is how good she is. So another reason why we're talking about using a travel agent, if we run out of these rooms, she can find other rooms on the ship for what we're wanting and pull them into our group where you can't do that individually. So
cool.
Everybody do their own thing,
yes.
But she's texting back and forth with Christy. She's super excited about helping the group. So there's a lot of things she can do for us and get it pulled back into our group. So we have that group power. So just letting that out there. She's going to be available in the Facebook group for the people that are in that. We're working on that because a lot of people have a lot of questions, and she wants to make sure nobody's worried about anything. So just awesome resource. So
that is awesome.
Yep.
Now back to the future. That was the present. Well, actually, that's the future, I guess, too, right? Because it's 2026. But anyway,
it is.
Back to the future. That's now the present, which is John has invented VR caching. So do you get to name it? Like there's Jasmer and there's Fizzy. Do you get to name this? Oh no.
Yeah, I guess I could. I guess I could call it the pickle pizza.
I knew I shouldn't have said anything. I knew that's what you were going to say.
I mean, you set that up. You walked into that.
I walked right into that one. Yes, true.
Yeah.
Are you?
I regret that.
It's time for pizza talk. Whether you're at your local.
I regret it already.
Right.
No pizza talk.
Pizza talk and pickle pizza is the future.
No.
Can we label these VR caches? Are you going to label yours a VR cache?
I changed the title on mine to a VR geocache because I think a few things, right? I think we need to label them, and I think we need to get a bookmark list. So I think as people get like other VR caches out there, we need to bookmark these, let everybody know, and who knows, maybe it could get to its own attribute down the road.
Ooh, we need an attribute. Sorry.
So busted. Yes, this is what we were working on the phone
for a few hours.
Which,
Christy.
Well, John was inventing something, so it takes a little while. Now, I will say, once we get this information out there, people are going to be able to do it without a terrible amount of trouble. But
yes,
I will confess that I used my teenage daughter to help me set it up, because they just know the technology like it's nothing, right? So she did help me set up mine, which is not published yet, but yeah.
So this is a good question because it wasn't. Good question, Jim. That was augmented reality.
Yes.
This is virtual reality. So it's completely different and has never been done before. So there you go.
So I guess let's explain the difference between the two, because a lot of people, those terms are kind of confusing, right? Yes. Augmented reality, and then I'll give my version, and then John, you give the real version. So augmented reality is like overlaying something on what you can see in real life. It's like an overlay, right? It's an added on.
Go has it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you can see something that's not really there sitting on the couch, whatever it is, a monster or whatever. Virtual reality is more of you're joining a whole new world. Like you don't see the current world. You see this new world that you're in, like the Matrix maybe, or something like that, where it's a headset generally, and you can't see the outside world. All you can see is the created world.
Yeah. Amateur gadget geocaching. Augmented adds a digital element to a real environment versus mix blends digital and physical. So
yes.
Good way to put it. Go ahead.
Entirely digital. Yeah.
And those are great definitions because for people it's like augmented, mixed, and then virtual. And for virtual being that fully immersive type of environment on that one. And Jim, the blue pill or the red pill, absolutely.
You take the blue pill. You take the red pill.
And I'll tell you, the one that I did it as kind of like a entry to VR. So I mean, like as we were doing this, like Jesse and I were talking about so many different ideas, but we're like, we have to set this up in a way, this like virtual world where people can get into it and it makes sense and it's a good launching point. But I mean, really, the possibilities are endless of what.
The ones we did, you and I did, because I copied your version with a twist, right? Because I don't do the exact same thing with a twist and a hike at the end of it. But there needs to be kind of it's about as basic as you can do. And we're not going to give away the puzzle, right? But we're not going to spoil our own caches. It's as basic as you can do with this, but there's so much more. There's so much more you can do with this. It's like, I don't know. It's like a lamppost as opposed to, or no, I got a better one. It's like a reverse where I go as opposed to a good where I go. There's so much you can do with where I go. You can make a whole fantasy story. You can do multiple stages, or you can just do a reverse where I go. And,
cheat.
There's that. Yeah. So, which I'm still going to find it, but it's still a cache. So I'm still going to go get it. But there's a different complexity, right? For sure. So, I think you've created a new cache type. I hope everybody jumps on board. The next thing you know, I mean, they would just throw it under the puzzle type, but still, that's not the point. So we're hoping for a new icon. We can get it.
Yeah. No, it was very cool. Y'all were going, go back and forth quite a bit, but I did jump on and I looked at John's just briefly, and very easy to use, and you can hide stuff that you really have to kind of work at. And so I found, and I took a picture on my phone because I did on my phone. I was like, "Hey John, is this what is this? This is like a glitch?" He's like, "Nope. You found something hidden." I was like, "Oh, cool."
Yep.
But I think Jesse was talking about, it's sort of like where I go, in the sense that you can use tools. Like in where I go, you can use tools. You can pick stuff up. I guess in the virtual reality too, since you have all, you can jump and do all sorts of weird things. You could pick stuff up, right? In theory, take something. Okay.
Yeah, that's more advanced, and the two that we put out don't have that level of interaction, right? And again, it'll just be like many things. You can do a simple riddle. You can do something very complicated in it, depending on how much time you are setting it up. I would recommend for anybody that's copying these and going out there, and we'll get more into the information on this too, right? Because that's not the whole show tonight. But if you're going to put something brand new in your area, whether it's any of the things we're talking about tonight, right? Like NFC chips or anything like that, start with a very simple one to introduce people. Don't make it a super complicated one. Or find some reward for them doing it, right? Like maybe raise the difficulty where it normally wouldn't be, but it's so new. Like the first time you have a bolt, one of those fake bolts, that's hard. Yes. Now you see it before you even barely get out of your car, right? But when something first comes out, it's brand new. Like you see some of the first Wearagos that were out that were super simple, but they were rated super high because nobody knew how to do them. Right. Now they wouldn't even be a 1.5, right? But so if you're going to do one of these, and we can talk more about that too, but VR caching's here. We talked about it like a future thing. John had to go around and invent it and ruin our future show. It's supposed to be a future thing.
Oh man, sorry guys.
So
the future is here.
Future's here now, apparently.
Yeah.
What? Well, that's the thing. It's like there's so much that can be done. And I know Jim Conway said on here, I bet this will drive the reviewers crazy. I was wondering, Jim, because Jesse and I were talking, and I'm like, I'm gonna submit it. I'm gonna see what they say. I'm going to explain it well. My reviewer, believe it or not, didn't even ask me a question. They just published it. Granted, I supplied some good information on there, because really, I think from my perspective, they could use a VR headset. They could just use a web browser, on their phone, on a laptop, on a tablet, etc. So I think there was enough commonality in ways to access it where it didn't really flag it, is my assumption on that one.
Yeah.
Where I think if it was headset only, then I think it probably would have.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something there too. And this would apply to any of these things we're talking about. If you figure out a way to do any of these things tonight, some of them are reality, some of them are new, future. If you're introducing something new in the area or just something new in general, like creating a whole cache type like John did, it's only fair to get a good explanation in your reviewer, right? Don't make them have to come back and ask you a ton of questions. Hit off some of those questions from the very beginning. Many reviewers want you to, put a picture of the cache container and a description of it and permission in there now. Head those off ahead of time. Go ahead and put those in there. Most of the people listening here, there's some new people, but most of the people listening here are, they've been cachers for a while. Make the reviewer, you probably even know your reviewer at this point. Make their job easier. Put up a good description. Explain exactly what it is. Pictures are very helpful for them because they can't go out and check everything ahead of time or we'd never get any caches. But especially if you're doing something new, don't make them guess. I don't understand what this is. Then it slows it up. I don't think there's even a limit to that. You can do as many reviewer notes as you want to, explaining everything you want. They will publish them way quicker if they understand exactly what it is.
Yes. You mentioned a minute ago about NFC. I've got 2 NFC caches that are out. I did them a couple of different ways, but those are really good. We did a show about NFC, so please reference a past show where we had on a person that hid as well. That we got some good information from them on how to hide an NFC cache. Easy to do. They're easy to take the little NFC tag and use it 1,000 ways or more. So he's a amateur gadget. Biggest challenge with an NFC cache is once we all had at the store, where is the scanner in relation to the tag? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So like where you got to get it close to get it to read. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing I ran into, and we talked about, I don't know if we talked about it before on the show, but I found that for the tags that I got, and I bummed them off of John, and John sent me a couple tags, was for me, I had to be real careful where I put them because apparently if you put them inside a metal, it's just too much interference for the phone, to pick up. But other than that, I was was able to hold a phone up to it, and it immediately popped up and worked. And I have a friend, one of our Motley Caching crew, he uses an Android, so that was perfect because then we were able to test iPhones and Androids, and his worked just fine too, without any issues. So I thought that was cool that it was sort of agnostic to that world.
It's common technology now. It really is.
And there's the app, in case you're wondering, called NFC Tools. So it's a real easy app.
Easy to get in there and play around with.
Yeah. I don't think I can show it on mine because it depends on how far
away I am. Yeah.
It's the idea.
And that's a free app too. And I mean, the cost of the NFC tag is not that high. I mean, if
NFC Tools. Yep.
If anybody's
They're
interested,
cheap. They're super cheap.
geocachetalk@gmail.com, and we can help share with you the link on those. But
I've got some designed. I'm waiting to put out. My container for my NFC chip is what I'm working on first. I want to make my container waterproof, but themed to the cache that I'm doing. And I've gone through a couple ideas, but I don't want it to be metal, right? But I don't want it to be. I want it not to get wet, and I don't also want it to get stolen. The first couple ideas, I thought those are going to be stolen too quick. So I've got some ideas, and I'll report back when I get to that. But I'm excited to put out my NFC caches.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I just picked up a container today for mine, so I just can't wait.
Yeah.
So Struck2 says people with iPhones had issues with his. Maybe that works better now, Struck2. I mean, I didn't have any trouble with mine. Amateur mentions, he says NFC Tools, I believe, does cost. It didn't cost anything for me. Now, I did a very simple one, so maybe if you do something,
it is free for basic usage.
Usage. So there you go. Thanks, Struck2. Yeah,
there are some limitations on what you can do with it, and certain things. Flag security for Apple phones, but there's 2 or 3 things you can do. And, again, we've kind of done that show already, but it's for geocaching. It does enough to make stages for geocache for sure.
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, just a few items to add on here. For iPhones, like you have the option of writing text to a tag. I do not advise, and I think our guest did too on the show, to write text. Rather than what you should do is you should link to content on that one. But in linking the content, make sure you hide your container in a place where you have good cellular signal for people to use on that front. Because I know I was talking to some people who were hiding for a potential event that I will not name, and they were thinking about like hiding it in a very remote area. And I just said, hey, just so you guys remember, it requires cell signal, to link to content to have it work well. So to put it out in a very remote area probably isn't going to have a good experience.
Yeah, and it's so easy to use, and like I said, you can link it to a Google Doc, or you can do a YouTube video, and you could link to it, and then you could do something very simple with just send them to Rickroll, and then you could then say, hey, there's a guy singing. What is he? And then you could quiz them, and something, you can make it very simple, or so you could send them a Google Doc and make them answer a quiz, and the quiz would be a way to get them to the next stage. Whatever.
You could just put coordinates on it, right? You can tell a story. You put coordinates. Do anything you wanted to do. Technically, and I've seen one like this. I think y'all have seen it too. You could post it on a telephone pole. They scan it, and it could say "look down," and the cache could be at the bottom.
Yep.
Right there. There you go. I'm saying technically you could, right?
Yeah, I mean you could.
Like
and the one thing
easiest
I love about NFC too, there's no batteries in NFCs. Your phone actually has the power to
battery, which is incredible.
So you don't have to worry about a battery running out. So that's pretty awesome.
Get creative. As a matter of fact, if you do one, email us and let us know, because we want to hear what people are doing with it, the creative ideas they're doing with them. Because this is some of the, while it's been around for a little while, this is still kind of the future of where geocache is going, right?
Yeah,
I like some of the other things we're talking about.
Yeah, another one is QR codes. I think most people are familiar with them. Either they've played the M game, or they may have just run across a QR code type geocache. I mean, those have been out there now for a while, I think, and
Oh
I
yeah.
think most people are familiar with QR codes nowadays. I mean, they're prevalent. I mean, your QR codes is if you if you haven't seen a QR code, then you're kind of probably living under a very nice rock somewhere. Go ahead. Yeah,
I will say that QR codes work inside WhereGo cartridges. Just going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
There you go.
And one thing I'll add to
make it a
for QR codes is QR codes kind of think how some of these technologies overlap. Because even if we're thinking like augmented reality and talking about that one, there's things where, you know, for an augmented reality, you can have it like tied to a location or image recognition or QR code. So, you know, for us, as we're thinking about these and we're thinking the future, think of how those things can connect. Because I mean, maybe that would be a pretty cool thing. Somebody goes to a spot, they scan a QR code, then they're able to do augmented reality. So, you know, I've never seen that before myself, but it could be very cool to do for a cache.
I like what you're thinking. I like what you're thinking now.
Yeah. And the same thing for NFC, actually. You could have NFC scan to an augmented
reality. It could take you to the link for a VR. Yeah. Or an AR.
Yeah, absolutely. For a VR, you're right, Jesse. You could.
That's a whole different thing right there. I like that.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
We got a few NFC caches out there, so I'm just putting them up when they show up here.
Very cool.
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely.
QR codes for sure.
Another one. This one. Yep. Bluetooth beacons are also referred to as an iBeacon. These are kind of interesting. These are proximity-based caches. So you could hide a cache, and it sends the signal to a nearby smartphone when cachers get within a specific range. I'm not sure, John, how does this work? How does a proximity based? I mean, I understand proximity based in the sense that, like, and I don't use it, but for, I don't know, Jesse, if you turn it on, I leave it off, but in Cachely, you can turn on. You probably do it on the regular geocaching app, right? Where if you get close enough, your phone buzzes.
It gives you an alert. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's sort of a proximity cache, right? But different.
Well, and I'll tell you, I love the ideas of the beacons because there's so many things where you have to be right there. You know, back in the day, people were thinking like beacons too, like in the college campus I work at. You know, would you have like beacons customized content by people's proximity with their phone to certain things?
Oh, okay.
You know, also in beacons, like the sense where you have something like locally, so you're not connecting cellular wise to it, you're not connecting over a distance, so somebody has to be there close in location. So to me, that's kind of cool because then that's like harder for people to break. You know what I mean? Like where some people, believe it or not, can cheat Adventure Labs, you know, when they're not actually at the location.
No way.
But if you're saying if there was some, I know people, believe it or not, some people could cheat in geocaching. I know that's hard to believe. It's tough pill to swallow.
Not a thing.
It's horrible.
But if you had like a beacon there where people actually had to be in close proximity to it, that could be cool. You know, one of the things I think of with beacons too, that would be a cool thing is like where Chile used to have mob caches, and mob caches have been retired.
Right.
And then if you had like a beacon where, you know, a certain amount of people had to be in close proximity to it in order to then like unlock the code or some sort of message like that. I mean, that would be pretty cool too.
I've got one for you, John. You have to tell me because you're more of a tech guy than me. Could we make a new version of a mob cache where you had to have a certain number of people in a VR world at the same time to be able to solve it?
That's a great question. That would be very cool. Like make it a teamwork cache.
Kind of like a virtual event, right? You have to have so many people, but like, you know, your NFC chip, you go and you scan, that's your virtual world. You got to have 6 people there to get into the world. And then it'll give you either the puzzle or the final code to where the cache is.
You have to lift the rock up. The code's under the rock.
Yeah, you got, you know, it'll only open up or whatever if there's a certain number of people in that little virtual environment at one time.
Yeah, you have to have like 6 people lift the rock. 2 people can't lift the rock, so all 6 have to be there.
Oh my gosh, I like that. Oh,
underneath
okay.
it,
Somebody create that, please.
Yeah.
So like everybody hold the rock up just for a second. We gotta
That's
get
right.
the code.
Hold it up. I got to get the cash out.
No, no.
Oh my gosh, I like that. I like it. Somebody needs to. We have a lot of smart people in here. Somebody create that real quick so I can go find it.
I like it.
Well, and I think getting back to what you're saying too with VR, like even on the VR cache I shared, like people can hang out there, believe it or not, and people can actually talk on their microphone there too. I think
That's
it
right.
puts after up to 40 people. So if like people wanted to use that as like a virtual hangout space, I mean, you could, and then you could do a lot more different things with that.
Good.
But yeah, I
Because
mean,
you
just
can share pictures in there, right? I guess because you can post things and stuff. I don't know. There's text. I think there's.
Yeah,
It could be like a virtual hangout to solve puzzles. Or
yeah,
who knows? It could be anything.
Yeah, virtual event for sure. Yeah,
I love it. All right, so we're starting to get toward the end. Let's do a few more.
Yes, yeah.
Smart locks and electronic containers, puzzle-based locks, containers that require solving a digital puzzle on a touch screen or keypad to open. So that's pretty clever.
Yeah.
You've seen this some with like Arduino and Raspberry Pi, like gadget caches, the smart caches.
Sure.
You'll see the pads there for that. You know, and I'm assuming as technology gets cheaper and cheaper, there's more and more things you can incorporate into a geocache like this, right? Like you have the Simon Says puzzles and things like that. Those are definitely they exist now, but they're not extremely common unless you're in certain pockets or you just happen to be around one of those, you know, handful of awesome cache hiders in the country that are doing those really advanced Arduino type, Raspberry Pi type caches. That's the only way I've seen that in real life so far.
Yeah. You know what? Sorry, Gary, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You finish it all.
One thing that I sent to Bounce Bounce, I can't remember if I mentioned this idea to you guys, and this kind of overlaps like AI and smart locks is, as I said, one thing I would love to see in like with Raspberry Pi, like AI object recognition is imagine calling something, and you got to bear with me, pizza, banana, let's call it taco, right? And you actually have to show like an AI lock those 3 objects for the lock to unlock
like
with AI image
holding them up.
Yeah.
You got to show a picture like on your phone.
Yeah, or like real objects. So imagine if it was just like you called it like 2 or 3 things, and then people had to bring those 2 or 3 things physically there
Banana,
to show the AI
apple,
and then it would unlock.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah. And it's like I haven't seen that, and like I know like Chad and I were throwing out ideas, and it's like, man, you know, somebody's going to do that. That would be like an awesome idea for a fun cache.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. So something like also the other part in our little notes here about biometric access, fingerprint or facial recognition based caches. My question to you guys, basically, we have to be careful. You know, these kind of things you have to obviously be careful with. That, you know, it's not recording this information. But what if you took these 2 ideas with the what you're talking about? What if you were to sort of create in today's world? I wonder if you could sort of create like like this 2001: A Space Odyssey with HAL. Since we have access to AI, I mean it's out there. Could you set up a series? I mean, where you're interacting with AI. I mean, we interact with AI. The 3 of us use AI, you know, every week for stuff. We go to, you know, we go on our Geocache Talk account and we interact with AI and we ask questions. Could you write this for me, or could you make a picture for me based on blah blah blah? So in theory, couldn't you create a sort of open-ended, free-flowing questionnaire where you ask AI, hey, I need to answer, I'm being asked this puzzle or riddle. What are your thoughts? And AI comes back, goes, I think they're wanting you to give them the the answer in Morse code or something. You're like, oh,
yeah,
that's what they were talking about. Or
I think we'll
so
get
you're
there.
almost, yeah, or whatever it happened to be, where you're getting, you're interacting with AI and you're saying, hey, like Hal, open the pod doors, Hal. Open. I can't do that.
I think you could get there eventually where like there's an AI chip or whatever, it comes way down and it's by itself. You have a container, it's got that intelligence in it, and it could give an original puzzle level 2 or whatever you set it at every single time a cacher comes up. It could give an original puzzle, and if you get the puzzle right, it opens the box. We're not there yet, right? But is that in the future? Quite possibly, right? All we need is somebody to invent that device, and that would be a whole different kind of cache. It's original every time you go, and that would be a whole different world.
Well, I think too. I mean, like, and this kind of crosses over to another one, like AI chatbots. I mean, technically, you could build an AI chatbot where people had to talk to it in order to get the answer of how to unlock the cache, and really. This is the year where AI is really becoming more multimodal in the context of not just being like textual submissions through chatbot, but I mean also interacting with voice on that side, understanding what's on your screen. So I mean, there's a lot more things you could probably do on that one. But like, how cool would it be to have like AI assumed to be some sort of like character that you had to interact with for either like a set amount of time in order to get the answer, or to certainly like convey understanding of maybe some of like their books or things that they've done. That would be kind of cool.
Like an AI signal or like an AI Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah,
because you can do either one, right? Just depending on what kind of cache you're doing, right?
Well, just imagine AI Abraham Lincoln then just goes, I'm sorry, sir, we have to settle this by a certain means that I challenge you to a dance off. Please outdance me right now. And if you outdance me, I will give you the code. You can unlock the container.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. Crazy. Well, AI, I think AI it's not going away. It's incorporated into everything, right? We talk about it all the time, but it will reach geocaching. And I don't mean just like helping you build better cache pages and solve puzzles and stuff like that. People are already using that. We hear reports of that all the time. And writing really nice, full notes to your reviewers. Use it. Don't be rude. Write a nice note. But when you're putting out something new, right? But I do think it'll reach the point where it's cheap technology that we can use, like Raspberry Pi and everything else, in our geocaches, and we'll see that day coming up. It won't be that far away where that will really, like, gadget caches will be to a whole new level at that point, right? Like that'll be an explosion of technology and everything else. And that doesn't mean it can't be put in a really beautiful area that you want to hike to. It just means that it can be a very advanced topic.
Right. Well, you could, and by the way, we're going to have to do a part 3. Sorry. I know we don't typically want to do that, but we're going to have to do a part 3 someday in the future. But as we wrap up part 2, one of the things I think would be really cool to include in that would be if you could, and you could easily, I think, do this, which is with your little chat bot thing with AI, is if you sort of, in a sense, quote, program it in such a way that, like, oh, if the geocacher tries to skip a step or something and get to in final, it's like, lock it down for 5 minutes before they can start.
You could, absolutely.
That'd be awesome. Where to go? I'm sorry, you're trying to cheat the system. Yeah. Goodbye. And then it goes off. You're like, dang it, come back and talk to me. I'm sorry, I cannot talk to you now. Please come back later. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is terrible.
How awesome would it be, like Monty Python the Holy Grail ask, like John Cleese's character is like, what is it, that French knight who's like, and I will taunt you again, sir. And then just taunt him again in that manner for a while.
Yes, right.
How about a trackable hotel with an AI that makes you put in a trackable first before you take one out?
Ooh. Oh, I like it. I'm sorry.
Scan one in before you take one out. Or just finds a way to really shame people for not logging them in a quick time. Like, it just starts like, hey guy, remember, you know, like there's an email like, hey, remember where you took this cache out of my trackable the other day? This is how the cache.
That's right.
Drop it somewhere. Log it, dude. I'll be calling you again tomorrow. Do something. Click. You know.
And then it makes like online like wanted posters of the person.
That's right. That's right. It just starts stalking them. Yeah.
Yeah. Like wanted for not doing anything with this trackable they took from this hotel.
Before we wrap up, John, do you want to give the name of the website you used for your, because it's already out there now and they can look at your cache to get it, but just for people that, just so they can have that, if they want to go and start playing around and building a VR cache.
Yeah. So this is just using like it's Viverse Worlds, and
we'll put that also in the, we'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah,
John will add that, and while you're doing that, John will also add it. There you go. It's in the.
Yeah. So if you do one, if you go and do one, definitely email us. We'd love to hear about it because we'd like to see how this is received in different areas. Because VR caching could be a whole new intercache, mod cache. It could be a whole new version of all those that, whether it takes hold in HQ or not, that doesn't matter. It's something new that we can get out there and play with, right? A different type of cache that we can play with. So if anybody's interested in putting something new in their area, and if you have trouble with it, you can email John or I. We can also help you through it.
Yep.
Or just talk to a teenager and they can build one for you. It works out well. So they're super easy. I mean, like they're really easy. There's no programming to it. It's plug and play. It's way easier than a Where I Go. So
did you want to share the?
It's pretty
totally free. Yeah, totally free.
Yeah. So if you just go and I added to the show notes and put it in the chat, just create.viverse.com. And you can create it. It's free. The way that Jesse and I did ours is we did it as unlisted in there. So basically, like you get a link that you can supply to others, and that's how they access it. You can also do options like private or like pin code, but I think unlisted probably makes the most sense for us for using it for geocaching experiences.
Yeah, I agree.
And we'll test that out, right? Like you can do a pin code, like you said, or unlisted. Yeah. We can test all those things out. I really hope people try some different options in there because I want to see how it's received in different areas. So
and I would love for us to create like a bookmark list. So if people do these, email geocachetalk@gmail.com. I'd love to develop that bookmark list of these for VR experiencing with caching.
Hey, be the first one in your state. That's the thing, right? Like you got New York. Gary, hopefully we'll have Texas. I got Florida. Let's see if we can do the first one in every state. That'd just be awesome, just for fun. Just
that would be so
absolutely.
What if it catches on and you're the first one? You've got the first one forever. So that's kind of fun to do. There's not very many firsts left in geocaching, so you got to jump on stuff really quickly, right? So
it's like Jesse and I got AR. Jesse and I got the first. I got the first AR in Texas, and he got the first one in Colorado. So
absolutely.
And we thought that was going to take off, but apparently it didn't take off.
It did for a while, and they didn't. You know, I think that's a software issue that they're working on still. But hey, you know what? This one doesn't rely on that. It's a thing we can do. So let's try to see if we can make something brand new.
Absolutely. All right. Well, VR Odyssey.
That's okay, Vlad. Only so many projects at one time. We're setting up a worldwide cache cruise. Let's hold it at that for right now.
That's right.
Yeah, I'd say, guys, we've had a good few months. I mean, Cache Odyssey, Worldwide Cache Cruise, VR caches. I mean,
let's slow down a little bit. We're supposed to be doing small projects until the cache cruise.
Yeah, I thought this year was the year of slowing down.
John didn't get the message and invented a whole new cache type. That's not my fault.
Yeah, sorry guys, my bad.
Way to go, John. Now you got to.
As we get to the end, I want to just reiterate: if you're interested in the cruise. Get in the group, get in the Facebook group, get on the Gmail, the email list, just geocachetalk@gmail.com. There are cabins left. That's the advantage of having Trish there, right? Is that she can reach out and grab ones from other groups and pull them into ours, which we couldn't do. So get that group together. Let's get those resources, safety in numbers kind of deal. Let's make sure we're getting everything we need. We won't
Did I lock up or did Jesse lock up?
I think Jesse froze, like Max Headroom style.
Okay. I didn't know if it was me or not because I forgot to plug in my camera or my cable for my router. So, well, let's wrap up. Direwolf, Jesse's camera is drunk. Yeah, he's spilling beans. So there you go. He was getting too animated. I love that. So, all right. Well, let's wrap up. All right. Good show. We'll talk more again. Yes. geocachetalk@gmail.com. I've got some people that have emailed me, so I'll get them in the group. And we'll go from there. But John, you do have a show coming up, right?
We got Gadget Talk coming up on Tuesday. So Gadget Talk is going to be some breaking news on Cache Fest Hawaii on that side. So if you're going to Cache Fest Hawaii, make sure you tune in. If you're still thinking about maybe you're on the fence, tune in too to get the latest news. So that's going to be on Tuesday, March 18th, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on that side.
Yeah, and something exciting, John, for next week for Geocache Talk. We're going to have Brent on, and he's going to talk about, I don't know how much we're going to get him to spill beans, but he's going to tell us all about Infernal Device.
Oh man, I can't wait. That is one of the best caches I've ever done.
And yes, not just because it had fresh warm pizza in the cache, in the geocache.
Yeah, that didn't hurt. That didn't hurt.
But it was allowed by the cache owner for there to be food in the geocache. The only time it's ever been allowed, other than the first stash where they had the can of beans. And yours was fresh pizza. I mean, how about that? Fresh pizza inside of a geocache, sanctioned by the cache owner and allowed by HQ. So there you go.
Love it.
But yeah, no, we're going to have Brent on. We're going to hear about, because if you've never done it, it's hard to explain to somebody how glorious and magical and incredible this geocache is. So that's where we're going to have Brent on. I explained it to John. I said, you're not going to believe this geocache. And you're like, well, blow me away. And this cache blew you away, I think. So
yeah, it was amazing. It was not pickled pizza strike too. Unfortunately, you can't get pickled pizza everywhere just yet, but it's catching on like wildfire, and soon you will be able to, I'm sure.
But it was still pretty amazing.
Yes, absolutely.
And we're going to we'll talk about that. It is. I've said before, hands down, it's the greatest geocache I've ever done. So, I am definitely looking forward to that. So, all right. Good deal. Well, let's wrap up, and we'll see everybody Tuesday for Gadget Talk, and then next Sunday for Geocache Talk. So thanks again. Good night, everybody.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
May your finds be many, and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.